Hey there, growth warriors. This is the Grow Daily podcast, and I am your host, Piyush Agarwal. Welcome to the 24th episode of this series. And today, we are going to talk about something that can grow your business exponentially over time, something that has the lowest customer acquisition cost, and you can keep selling and selling to the same customer on a regular basis. Sounds exciting, right? And that's not all. We will actually break out every single step you need to get started on this area over multiple episodes. So you can follow my episode and make sure that you are making progress every single day. Because that's what we do on the Grow Daily podcast. I share tips, tricks, and tools that have been working with all my customers and several other marketers all across the world. And we make it as actionable as possible. So with every episode, you get to learn something new, you get to go back and try those things out. And the best part, I try to keep the episodes under 15 minutes, making sure that I don't take up a lot of time in your day and make sure that you get to work almost immediately after listening to the episode. So listen to this podcast while you're on your short commute or while you're taking a walk or a jog. You will definitely go back learning something new and something that you can try out with your own business. So what are we going to talk about? Well, over the next 5 episodes, we are going to talk about email marketing, helping you step by step get your email list in place, ensuring that you are using it to its full potential, and making sure that you are using emails to grow your business, to get more customers to sign up, to pay, and to add more dollars to your business. So, without further delay, let's get started. My first question to all of you is going to be, do you already maintain an email list? If you're thinking, what is an email list? Well, it's exactly what it sounds. It's a list of email IDs that you maintain somewhere and communicate with on a regular basis. How you communicate is a different question altogether, but basically these are people who are interested in what you have to sell, what you have to say, and you are making sure that you are reaching out to them regularly with value. Now, there are various channels of marketing already available today. I'm sure you are already on Twitter and YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, so basically you have already covered all the social media channels. In fact, you may be thinking, why do I really need email if Facebook and Instagram is working for me? Why do I need to go out and do that extra work of sending out an email to people? In fact, you may also be thinking that I get a ton of emails and I don't read all of them. So what really is a benefit in having a list of your own and creating emails on a regular basis? Well, there's a ton of good things about it. Firstly, email marketing is the cheapest form of marketing available today. Although email may sound prehistoric, it does work. Everybody maintains an inbox, everybody gets emails, and based on how you go about it, you can make sure that people actually open your emails. And once you have acquired your customer, once you have their email, they are sort of customer for life if everything plays out well. Another aspect that makes me a fan of email is the fact that it's completely in your control. When it comes to Facebook, Instagram, or any other social media network for marketing, we are sort of at mercy of that platform. Facebook changes its algorithm and you stop getting customers. Facebook has several guidelines that you need to follow when you are posting content, like the amount of text in your image and how you are approaching it, and how much of it is shown to your users and your followers versus how much is not. So you basically depend on Facebook to do well and do justice to your users and your content to make sure that you are able to reach your people. If nothing works, you will have to spend on Facebook ads. Similarly, other platforms also have their own nitty-gritties that you need to follow. But when it comes to email, once you have the email ID, you are in absolute control. You get to decide how the email looks, what goes in it, what kind of content you want, what happens when somebody opens an email, how it should read, how it should feel. All of it is in your control, and best of it, you can track a lot of these aspects. You can track and make decisions with every single email. You can keep changing and iterating until you find something that works for your audience and your brand. And best of all, email marketing can be automated to a large extent. You can create funnels, you can use autoresponders to respond to your customers and do a lot more with email. It's just that there's a strong stigma that emails don't work. But I have seen from my experience that if you have an engaged email list which is large enough, Let's say even if it just has 1,000 people in it, but all of them love your brand and love the value that you bring on, they will be buying things from you without you having to push at all. They will be the first ones to open your email. They will be waiting for your email in their inbox, and make sure that they go by every single word you have to tell them. So that's email marketing. You get to connect with your audiences directly. They feel that they have a personal connection with you and your brand, and they are the first ones to open every single email and make sure that they purchase and buy everything that you have to say, because you have been engaging with them and they know you care for them, because every time that email lands in their inbox, it doesn't feel like a mass advertisement. It is done in a way where it feels like they are talking to you directly. So with that, if you already have an email list but you have not been using it effectively, this particular series will help you change that. Or if you don't have an email list, this particular series will help you start from scratch. Start from the point when you don't have even a single subscriber, just like this Grow Daily podcast, and you want to get started. In fact, because I walk my talk, I went ahead and started a new email list for Grow Daily podcast as well. More on that later. Now that you are sure that you want to try out email marketing, let me talk a little about what is an email list. Well, as I said already, it's a list of email IDs, people who are interested to know more about your brand, people who are looking forward to hear more from you. It is also a list of potential customers, people who would buy from you every time you have something to sell, just because they like what you're doing, they love what you create for them, and they feel connected with your brand. 10 years ago, when we started our theater company, we started collecting email IDs of everybody who attends our shows. We made sure that after every show, we collect their email IDs and feedback. We asked them if they would like to hear more from us and add them to a database later. This was sort of a manual process, but it ensured that over time, with more and more shows, we actually created a list of people who would like to follow the work that we are doing. It wasn't just a spammy way of collecting data. We actually asked for consent, and this is important. You need to make sure that when people are providing you their email address, they know what you're going to do with it. Now, once we had those email IDs, and over 10 years we collected quite a ton of them, we have been sending all our communication of workshops and shows to that email database. And even today, after 10 years, that's where most of our sales come from. That's where most of our information gets circulated via. Social media has been on and off for us. There was a time when Facebook worked beautifully and we could spread the word very easily, but now Facebook is more ad oriented. It wants us to spend the dollars in order to increase our outreach, which is not the case with emails. Emails are still working the same way. There are still people reading our emails. In fact, there are people who would have watched our shows 10 years back and they reply to our email saying that they cannot make it, but because they love us so much, they are sending their friends over. And that's the power of email marketing. So make sure that you are maintaining a list. You're maintaining it in a way that it is easy for you to send out emails. And you are not just using the email list to send out spammy newsletters. You are actually sending them value, sending them content that they would love you for. Now, once you have this email list, you need to set out the goals that you want to achieve with that list. Yes, you would be thinking, Piyush is back with his goals. We have been talking about goal setting and goals for social media and goals for every single thing across all our episodes in the past. And there's a reason for that. Because when you set a goal, you are more motivated to achieve it. You have more of a direction and understanding on how you should go about in hitting that milestone. And then when you do hit that goal, you have a milestone and a win to celebrate. So let's start talking about email goals. You need to understand why you are making an email list for your business and what kind of engagement will that lead to. What kind of information will you be sharing with your email list? If you're just going to tell them about the new products you're launching, that is fine, but maybe they won't feel as engaged. Sure, they will find out about your products first, but is that the best way of going about it? I don't know. What I think is, it's better to engage with your customers, it's better to engage with your email list in a way where they never feel that you're trying to sell them something. So if you are in the fashion world and you sell fashion products, let's say makeup kits and moisturizers and things like those, you need to figure out ways that you can provide value to your email list. For example, your goal as a fashion brand can be that on a weekly basis, you will be sending them tips and tricks of getting their makeup right. of making sure that they know how to take care of their skin. Now, when you are setting up these goals, having a measurable goal of increase in the number of subscribers is great, but that's not the only thing you should have. You should have a goal which adds a lot more value. So the example that I just gave, the goal for that would be sending out one mail of tips every week. And if you hit that goal and if you have that streak, then you can go ahead and start engaging with your audience. And trust me, your audience will be looking forward to your emails if they feel that what you're sharing is of great value to them. So set out a goal of why you are creating an email list and what you will be sharing with the email list, and only then you start going all out and mailing your list. So I hope that you are now convinced on how email marketing can be really effective for your business and how you can create a very engaged database, a very engaged community for your brand. But how can you get started on email marketing? Maintaining a list is a very important thing, and you need to get started in the right way. There are various ways that people maintain a list to send out emails. You can add them to the contacts of your email provider. You can create a distribution list in Outlook. You can go ahead and add a list somewhere where they allow you to communicate with groups and communities and so on. Google Groups is a very popular option in that manner. It allows you to add emails manually as well and also lets others to subscribe to your emails. However, it is not the most effective one. I have used Google Groups a lot over the last 10 years for my theater company, but there are way more effective ways of doing it. I would recommend you to sign up for an email marketing service provider. Now, an email marketing service provider, as the name suggests, is a company that lets you create lists and do a lot more than just sending out emails. There are a lot of options available today, from Mailchimp to Aweber to Drip. All of these companies allow you to create lists and do a lot more around automation, filtering, and helping you even create the emails with templates and everything. All of them have their pros and cons, so it will take a little research for you to find the right email provider. However, the one that I always recommend for businesses that are just starting in email marketing is Mailchimp. Mailchimp is a powerful email marketing tool which has a ton of features, right from autoresponders to segmentation to making sure that you have your own editor to create the emails and also scheduling your campaigns. It also provides reports for you to be able to track how your emails are doing. So it's pretty effective. I have been using Mailchimp for myself and have also recommended it to several other businesses over the last 5 to 6 years. And I have been amazed to see how the tool has been evolving and growing. And the best part, if you're just starting, it lets you send emails to your first 2,000 subscribers for free, and that's for life. You can get started with Mailchimp in just a few minutes. All you need to do is register your account and add some basic details around your business and your mail account. And you can get started in creating your first email in no time. And the best part, you can try all of it, and if you don't like it, you can always change to a different email provider. But it's a great starting point to get you comfortable with email marketing, and most likely you will stick around because of the number of features that it has built in by default. So that's Mailchimp for you. I will leave the link in the details of this podcast episode for you to figure it out. In fact, I went ahead and created the first email list for Grow Daily Podcast because I would like to communicate with all of you on a regular basis and stay in touch, not just via podcast, but also via other ways. And also make sure that you are the first one to find out whenever a new episode gets published. Apart from that, I would like to send you information on various ways that you can keep growing your business, things that I am not able to cover in my podcast episode. So you can find the link of Grow Daily Podcast email list also in the details of this episode. Do sign up and get connected with Grow Daily Podcast. I hope you found this episode helpful and you are looking at getting started with email marketing right away, because in tomorrow's episode, we will be talking about how you can gain subscribers and add them to your email list. There's a ton of ways that you can do that, and I'm super excited to cover it all for you in tomorrow's episode. With that, we have come to an end of this episode. Do go ahead and leave a review on iTunes. Do go ahead and subscribe to this podcast so that you never miss out on an episode. And like I said, do subscribe to the email list as well, because I would like to know how many of you want to be on my email. With that, I will sign off for today. You have been listening to Piyush Agarwal, and this is the Grow Daily Podcast.